my name is Rachel, and today we're going to be talking about task number 15 for the Book Riot Read Harder Challenge, and this is a book of mythology or folklore. So this is kind of a fun topic. I think I would probably tend to lean more towards the folklore than the mythology, but I have picked out several books that I'm interested in, and I'm ready to share them with you today. So first up is American Gods. This is by Neil Gaiman, and it definitely has a mythology tagline, although I believe this is kind of like a new mythology within his creation. Obviously, North America doesn't have a lot of mythology surrounding it. It's more folklore based, but I think this really does focus on kind of the ideas represented in America, and I always love a Neil Gaiman book, so that is definitely on the list. Next up is The Bear and the Nightingale. This is by Catherine Arden, and this has been going around BookTube for a while. This is supposed to be Russian folktale mythology, and that's really all I know. I love this cover, and I've heard really good things about it, so I'm interested in this, especially since I just read the Romanov book. I feel like I'm kind of in the mood for another Russian-based book. Next up is going to be pretty much anything in the Percy Jackson series, or anything rather by Rick Riordan. I've actually only read The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. That's all the Rick Riordan I've read. So I'm putting this on this list as both a recommendation and as a possibility for myself, because I really could pick up and read another Rick Riordan book. Any of them pretty much will work because it's all mythologically based. Next up is one that I see all of the time, and I have never read it, so I thought I would list it on here because it's one that's on my radar, and that is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. She also just recently came out with another one called Circe that should definitely work for this category as well. So I don't know if you have to read them in order. I don't know if they're even really connected. I'm not sure. But very much in line with Greek mythology, so both of these should work. Next up is one that was recommended to me, and this is the Penelopiad. I can never say that with any confidence, but this is by Margaret Atwood, and this is kind of a reimagining of the Odyssey from, I believe, Odysseus's wife's perspective. I think. Not 100% sure, but again, very much in line with Greek mythology, so this would definitely work. And Margaret Atwood, you know, she's an okay writer. She's okay. So that might be a good one to pick up. Another one that I'm super excited about, that I don't know how I have not read this yet, is in the Rick Riordan Presents category. All of these, again, would work. Anything that Rick Riordan has his name attached to, I feel like, is going to have some basis in mythology. Arusha and the End of Time is the one I'm looking at now, and this is by Rashani Chotsky, and this is more East Indian mythology, and that just sounds super interesting to me. And I know that the second book is getting ready to come out, and I think this is just a fantastic branch away from what we traditionally see, which is the Greek and Roman mythology. We don't get a lot of other cultural mythology pushed as hard, at least not here in the United States. So I'm excited for that one. Along the same lines is The Immortals of Meluha. This is by Amesh Tripathy, and this cover looks fierce, and this is a series that is again hinting at more of an Indian culture, kind of Asian Indian mythology, and it's again just not very prevalent here, so it did catch my eye. I'm very much interested in branching out from the traditional Greek mythology that we get so much here. And last but not least, I wanted to throw out the World of Lore series by Aaron Mahnke. This is all folklore, and they're so interesting. If you have not listened to Aaron Mahnke's podcast, I would recommend it. And these books are all basically written forms of the podcast, which sometimes I tend to like better. And I might be rereading this anyway for an upcoming project, so I thought I would throw this up here as a recommendation. They're really, really interesting, and they explain a lot of the kind of darker folklore that we have here in the United States and all around the world. So I would highly, highly recommend this series if you're looking for more of a folklore basis for this challenge. So there you have it, some top picks in folklore and mythology. Let me know down below if you have any favorites, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye for now.